listening to Femme podcast with Tessa Markle
and Carolina Alvarez.
Femme. Welcome back to a Femme podcast with Tessa and Carolina. Welcome to episode 2, part 2 of starting your own production company.
Dun, 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 dun.
So with every topic that we want to bring to you guys, we want to kind of break it up. The first part, we're going to talk to you, just our experience, what we've learned, and give you a little inspiration, something that inspired us that week. The second part, we're usually going to bring in a guest. Today, you're just stuck with us. Sorry, guys.
Sorry.
But we're going to enjoy a little tea and play a little game.
Utter nonsense, to be exact.
Yes. So let's start with the tea. The tea box, please.
Dun, 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 dun.
So this is one of my favorite teas. It is Yogi brand Sweet Tangerine Positive Energy. Supports elevated mood and energy levels.
So LA, Tessa. Can you just say that anyway? Can you just say that in an LA?
I should be like eating kale and doing yoga while I'm drinking this tea, right?
Yogi tea, everyone. It's not a paid sponsorship yet. But we would totally get it.
Shout out Yogi tea. Follow us. No, but it's a delicious tea, first of all. But tangerine, grapefruit, all of those citruses are natural mood boosters and metabolism boosters. I personally like to start my day with some grapefruit essential oil in my water. Girl. If you guys need a little boost in the morning. This tea is great because it just, it puts you in a good mood. It has some caffeine.
It is good. I feel a little elevated already. Yes.
Right?
I'm a tea. I think we both enjoy tea. So that's why we're bringing it on our show. We're avid tea drinkers. And we thought, why not get a little weird with y'all and play this game? So normally we would have a judge, but since it's just Tessa and I, we're not even like going to get into like how it works. But for this first round, basically we have an accent card pile and then a phrase card pile. And so we're going to... Tessa, you want to go first?
Sure.
You want to be brave. So she's going to pick up an accent, and then she's going to have to say the phrase that goes with it.
All right. I want to tickle you, but you're so fast. This is a little tough.
Yes. You were very assertive when you said it. Can you do it again?
I want to tickle you, but you are so fast.
Teacher?
No. Later at 4:00.
Oh, like a news person?
News anchor, yes.
Yes. Yeah, okay, here my turn. Oh my god. Okay. Yes, this is my favorite accent. I celebrate summer solstice. I don't know what that is, but I celebrate it.
I'm going to go with a granny.
Yes.
Okay.
I love granny voice. Shout out to Heather because she loves my we have grandma voices. That's just what we do. Okay,
we'll do a couple more rounds. All right. So I think that's good for our game for today. Give the listeners a little taste.
Let's cap it off at that.
Because we like to have fun. So again, guys, we encourage you guys to reach out to us. We love to do tea. We love to chat with people. And, we want to work with as many female filmmakers as we can. So follow us on Instagram at FemmeRegard and feel free to DM us. We'd love to meet you, play this game with you, bring you on the podcast.
Yeah. So thanks for rolling with that, Tessa. She had no idea. I was like, I bought this game at Target last night. Whoa, what?
And thank you listeners for listening to that.
Yes. So now on the more serious note. We're getting serious
enjoying my
now.
tea.
Oh, sorry. Okay, we're still chill. We're still yogi.
Yes, keep it zen. But yeah, now it's the nitty gritty about starting a production company. So basically, we're just going to kind of give you guys a few key takeaways from this because I would honestly recommend Google it. That's what we did. I mean, we talked to some people about starting it that had started their own production companies and got some tips and tricks, but really, you got to find out what works for you. So for example, an LLC versus an LLP. So the difference between the two is LLC is kind of a sole proprietorship, whereas LLP is a partnership. So if you're entering into a production company, you're probably going to have at least one partner, right? But you have to figure out, how do you really want to form the company?
And also the liability with that.
Absolutely.
So with the LLC, it's kind of, nothing will affect either one of you individually. But once you get into a partnership, from what I understand, and I hope I understood it right, is that then it does kind of affect the individual. And so we definitely went the LLC route. But what's great about it is because then you have to form the whole entire structure. And so we since we're in this together, we did it 2-member and split it 50-50. So everything is, all the assets and all that wonderful jazz, the decisions, we're doing it 50-50, because once you then have other members, you kind of have to do like a vote and so also keep in mind like who you act is very, very important. Like you think ahead. If you're starting this with a group of friends and then you have that one friend who's like, ooh, like they're great. They're like really enthusiastic, but then they're like, they kind of slack.
It's like the group projects in high school. Like make sure you're with the right people.
Or who you give the right control to. So if it's like really you and Joe Schmo's idea, like how about you two like be the members and then kind of like divide the other roles accordingly, because you just with business and this is key. I'm so, just shout out to Tessa. I'm so lucky that I found her, because personal relationships and business, it can get tricky.
It really can, but we got really lucky.
Yeah, we do.
But it's important because we had the same aspirations and morals and stuff going into this, so that was really important. And for us, again, so to clarify, we set up an LLC. So Carolina's kind of the head of our company, because she knew she wanted to go into directing as well. Whereas I said, I just really want to stick to the acting and the producing. So we said, okay, you head it, but really we're 50-50 in this company. That was an agreement that we came to on our own terms. I would recommend, doing a contract, especially if you have more than 2 people, just to make sure everybody's on the same page, no surprises down the road, but of course that's up to you.
But speaking of contracts, you actually, you kind of, there's no way around it. You actually have to do it. And you basically, you set up your articles of organization. That's what it was called, where it does list exactly who your members are, how much percentage they have, like all that. So there actually isn't a way around it, because you send that off with the other tax forms that they require you to fill out. So and that fee, by the way, is $70. So take note. So first, $70 goes there. And then basically once they approve of that, they send you back what's called an EIN, which I like to look at it as my social security for
the business.
For the business. And you can always look up your business later online with that number. So don't lose it.
It's important to have that number. And that legitimizes your company in the eyes of the IRS, basically.
Or if you're hiring or getting paid for something. We almost came across a encounter where we were going to produce an event for someone. And then we're like, they were like, okay, well, my company, which was like $1 billion company, is going to pay you, then we need to fill out this workman paper, whatever it was.
Yeah, I-9s, I think. Yeah.
And then it's like, well, if you don't have an LLC, they can't pay you like that. So it's that's another huge benefit to, going through the hell of this, because you can then just get paid directly. There's no like weird, like, okay, how do I do? You look legitimate and then you get paid directly. But another thing that comes along with it in the state of California, this will vary from state per state, but in California, you get taxed $800 annually. That's something you have to prepare for as well going into this.
Regardless if you're making money or not.
We Googled like every freaking scenario to try to get out of it. And then we're like, you can do the shady thing and like try to do it from another state, but we're like, nope, we're talking to you from the lovely LA, in case we didn't address that, and so we're like, okay, we're just gonna do it.
City of angels in debt.
Nice scary voice. But so you got to do that. And another thing that comes along with this. Now, if you're just starting out like us, I don't think you need to get an accountant right away. But I think once you start to really build a business, and if you're just going to do that from the get-go, that's awesome. Then maybe I would suggest hiring one, or what we did, which you can also try and do, is buddy with your tax guy, because he like gave me pretty much a half-hour consultation for free, and kind of gave me some great tips, which I'll share right now, like some things, to think about, which, he was really like, you gotta be right on it,
Oh, you know what? Before we talk about money, I just want to real quick slip in.
Yes.
I mentioned you guys should, just Google everything to get the specifics on everything. We're just kind of giving you, again, a quick rundown, but a place to go to get all of your forms, just so you guys know, if you want to write this down, www.sosca.gov. So that's going to be where you can get your EIN form, your LLC form, all that stuff you need.
If you're in the state of California.
Yes, if you're in the state of California.
Thank you, Tessa. Yeah, I was like, do I mention that? If you're not in California, but yeah, if you're in California, go there. That's where you get your forms. And so along with the forms, where something my accountant brought up that you really got to be on is every year, the first 5 months, you need to pretty much reinstate what your company, what is it called? It's like the
statement of intention, I believe.
Thank you. I think that's what it's called too. And it basically either confirms, has things changed in your company, like member roles and all the percentage. And if nothing has changed, then it's just an easy click of a button, no changes. But you need to do that within the first 5 months of every year. So if you didn't catch that in your research of starting a production company, make sure you stay on top of things like that and your wonderful tax fee.
You've got to keep up with it, whether you're actually producing at the time or not, which is really important if you want to keep your company active.
Yeah. And then another great tip is if you are things to keep cost wise, which will help you, get a tax return back, are startup costs, like anything from getting equipment for your company to like
someone designing your logo, food, all kinds of startup stuff. Keep your receipts.
Yes. Or, we'll get into the banking stuff in a little bit. So the startup costs, what's being produced and like the income you get from that, and the operational expenses. So your state tax actually qualifies as an expense. So that's kind of nice. You can write it off. So keep that in mind too. So it's really important to those three things: startup costs, what's being produced, and operational expenses. Keep those things organized and a way you can stay organized is getting things like QuickBooks, or you have a badass co-producer like Tessa who's anal about everything.
When one of you is OCD, you will keep track of everything.
Love the spreadsheets, girl. Love them. But then you can actually, it's not, if you're not making a lot of returns, you're just doing expenses like
we are so far.
You really just need, to make sure everything is coming. You're paying with your account, your bank account.
Yes, that's a really important thing. Start a bank account. You don't have to, but we really recommend it because then everything is being put on that account, on that company credit card. And that's a really great way to keep track. If you don't want to do QuickBooks, if you're not like me and, can't create a bunch of spreadsheets for everything, at least your bank account information is going to have a record of everything you spend. And if you do it, we did it through a credit union to avoid fees. We recommend that. But no matter where you do it, you're going to be able to talk to a person. If you have any questions about, does this count as a tax write-off? Does this count? Any questions that you have.
More free help.
Yes, exactly. Utilize all the free help that you possibly can.
Yeah. So totally. I strongly encourage butting up with the credit union, because they either, if you have to, for instance, take out a loan to buy equipment, they usually offer really great low interest rates. So if you're at that stage and want to, take something out like that, and then other things to be aware of, if you do open with other banks, they tend to sometimes have like an annual fee that you need to pay or a monthly fee. So yeah, that's why we went the credit union way. And that would be our little tip if we had to share that with you.
Yeah, really just, it boils down to do your research on all of these things, look into every little difference between an LLC, an LLP, corporations, if you have a ton of people with you or whatever, because there's benefits, there's pros and cons to
everything.
Exactly.
And there's even like a form for the LLC if you still want to do it as a partnership. Like we were even looking into that. We just decided it's just easy right now to do the 50-50 member thing. But, there's like that much more that goes into it. And we're not going to hear and bore you with the details. We just wanted to just share quickly kind of what worked for us in a like lump sum. And I think if this is resonating with you, that it's a great start, because you can change things, but you can't change everything. Like there's in our articles of organization, I remember there's like a buyout fee for whatever reason, Tessa or I wanted to piece out, like you can kind of like buy your way out. There's like things like that. And so definitely, like Tessa said, like read everything, like check everything. That's something we highly encourage.
Because remember, it is a business. It's not just, hey, this is a name we're going to slap on the front of our films. It is a legitimate business, so you have to treat it as such. You have to be prepared. And another thing going along with that is to have a business plan. We specifically really need to iron out ours, but we've talked through it, and we really know what we want to get out of this, and what the future holds for us, and we have a legitimate plan of this is next on our list of things to do. This is what we want to accomplish by this time, and it's really important to know what you want to do, what you want to accomplish. You don't have to set specific due dates for stuff, because you're going to go crazy if you can't accomplish it by then. Stuff takes time. But, know that, hey, I want to get this feature produced in the next year, whatever. Have those goals set for yourself with some sort of timeline. And then if you have a business mind, if you know somebody that went to business school, they can help you set up a legitimate business plan. That's great. Again, treat this like a business, because it really is. And that's really important.
Amen. Amen. And it just, it keeps everyone on the same page. There's no like surprises. Like all of a sudden Bob over here wants to do a telenovela. I don't know. That just Bob wants to do a telenovela. That's funny. But it keeps everyone on the same page too, if you're working with more than just one person. So we hope that, this was somewhat helpful to those of you who are maybe thinking about legitimizing the business. But remember, it is a business, and it's not like there's a lot that goes into signing off, your name on something. So yeah, just best of luck to you. And if you guys have questions, or feel free to DM us, and we'll do our best to answer them, if they come our way, or, maybe refer you to a website or something if we can't answer
totally.
it.
If we can't specifically answer it, we can find someone who can give you the answer.
Yeah. And we do plan on bringing on some guests in the future too, to talk a little bit more about the business structure, because they would have operated on a larger scale. So stay tuned. I have a feeling that will be coming up real soon. Because there's a huge difference at the rate we're producing versus, mass production.
Absolutely. Well, thank you guys for listening. If you haven't visited our website, check it out, www.femregard.com. We have a couple of our short films up there if you guys would like to see, what we started out with. And of course, again, follow us on Instagram @FemmeRegard and Twitter @Femme_regard. And feel free to message us anytime. Thank you guys for listening. And we'll be back next time with a new subject and some more games and tea and inspiration.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to Femme Regard Podcast. If you like what you hear, tune in next time for more tips on the filmmaking business and insightful conversations with industry professionals over tea.
We can only grow with your support, so please subscribe, share, rate, and give us a 5-star review on Apple Podcast. If you leave us a great comment, we might give you a shout out on the show. For more on us, check us out at femregard.com.